Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. I think there's a real distinction being made right now. There's a difference between a dishonest manipulation campaign and real political strategy. And I think that distinction is being made between what the Democrats are engaging in, all their tomfoolery, constant distractions, lies, and manipulations, and what President Trump is now doing, playing the game, frankly, the right way, the way that you should play it. President Trump just came out with an announcement and, in my view, just completely torpedoed the entire Democrat scam at its source. He's talking real substantive policy, basically exactly what Democrats are engaging in whatever tricks possible to avoid. I think this is the difference between them and us, and I also believe in the end this is how you win. This is how you flip their narrative. This is how you make their pathetic little strategies and stunts blow up in their frickin' faces by showing voters exactly who's focused on the things that matter and who's pushing the damn scams. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on as Democrats continue to lose on the issues. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here comes President Trump, not getting distracted by the Epstein smears and everything else going on, but just focusing on the policies. What's important?
It's going to go down. It went the exact opposite with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance, and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with health care. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness.
Again, the track record is clear with this president. Every single time, as the Democrats are focused on these antics, everything's always a new fake scandal, a new hoax. The president is focused on you. And you know what? That's the first serious solution that I've heard on the healthcare affordability crisis in a really long time. Democrats are always virtue signaling, oh, my health care. But when have they actually presented a solution other than Bernie Sanders' abysmal universal health care scam? Well, the answer is never. What Democrats want are more subsidies being directed at the insurance companies so the middlemen can benefit. President Trump is now offering a serious solution. He wants the dollars in your hands, and he's now putting Democrats in a position where they have to answer. They're going to have to vote on this if it ever gets presented as a bill. And of course, that doesn't exactly bode well for them, because the reality is they don't want to fix Obamacare. No, they just want the issue of Obamacare on affordability. And that's why they're trying so hard to change the conversation right now. That's why Democrats in the Democratic press, otherwise known as the mainstream media, they're so focused, they're fixated on yet again pushing another bogus Epstein distraction. And honestly, I'm glad that the president is unfazed. He's bulldozing forward, focused on the things that matter. Healthcare premiums, healthcare affordability and accessibility. And this, I believe, is the right approach. This is how you make the shutdown backfire. This Epstein hoax is going to go away. The issue of healthcare is not going anywhere, and I believe that Democrats can get easily exposed on this issue. You can dismantle the entire premise. This whole claim of a Republican healthcare crisis. It's not a real thing. It's their healthcare crisis. Even their own John Fetterman is now admitting that to the media.
The people that are watching, it's like the Democrats. We design these to expire at the end of the year. This wasn't something the Republicans are taking. It's like, that's how we designed this.
Exactly. They built the whole system. They scripted the expiration dates. And then worst of all, they tried to hold the country hostage so they could flip the script on this issue. It's their healthcare crisis, and it was their shutdown. Why do you think all of a sudden now they're throwing a freaking hissy fit as the shutdown is coming to an end? And actually, Mike Lawler pointed this out during a pretty fiery speech on the House floor.
The reason we know this is a Democratic shutdown is because of how angry they are that we're about to reopen the government, period. That's all you need to know. In 2023, Jerry Nadler said shutdown is really an extremist policy designed to appeal to an extremist base and hold the whole country hostage. That is exactly what the Democrats have done over the last 43 days. They have held the American people hostage, trying to extract insane things like free health care for illegal immigrants. If they were serious about tackling the health care affordability crisis in this country, then they would address the fundamental problem with Obamacare. Since Obamacare took effect, health care premiums have risen by 96%. And on the open market by 114%. When I asked Leader Jeffries to sign on to the 1-year extension of the premium tax credit, he refused. He stuttered, he stammered, he couldn't answer a single question. Because this shutdown was never about health care. It was always about appeasing a far-left radical base. Chuck Schumer said, every day gets better for us. Catherine Clark said, of course people will suffer. We want to use this as leverage. It is an embarrassment to this country. You should all be ashamed of yourselves for inflicting this pain on the American people.
Exactly. Now all of a sudden they're so freaking angry as the shutdown is coming to an end because they know the implication. The short term is, maybe some pain for President Trump. I'm not going to deny that it's not there in the polling data, but now comes the opportunity to get ahead of these Democrats and to absolutely and utterly outmaneuver them. Propose real policy changes, real solutions to their failing Obamacare, to their healthcare crisis, expose them as the architects, not only behind the failure of Obamacare, but as the architects of the government shutdown that caused so much pain, expose them as the snakes that they are, pretending to be for the people, but really, I think it's becoming increasingly more apparent they're for the insurance companies, for big pharma, for the big corporate oligarchs that they pretend to be fighting against on behalf of the people. Now, there's one president who time and time again is the only one who seems to stick his neck out, who seems to offer solutions and policy proposals that benefit the people, and that's President Trump. And so my view is ignore the noise, ignore the media circus, and focus on the issues. Remind people that it was Democrats who caused this Obamacare crisis. It's Democrats who are constantly lying. It's Democrats who are taking you hostage. It's Democrats who engage in every matter of hoax, anything, but actually discussing real, tangible solutions to important problems that the American people are facing. Focus on the issues while Democrats focus on the distractions. Win in good faith, win on the policies, because that's what won in 2024. That's why people vote for President Trump, because they're sick of the gaslighting, they're sick of the BS, they're sick of the Democrat games. And now Democrats are taking those games to a whole other freaking level here, expecting it's gonna yield results for them, but it didn't then, it didn't in 2024. Why would it moving forward? There was supposed to be a lesson in 2024 for the Democratic Party, but instead it seems they've doubled down, and the only way that's gonna work for them is if you let it work for them. But if Trump and the GOP work tirelessly now moving forward to expose all of these Democrats' scams, if you do it right, if you run a strong campaign, you can utterly demolish them. The amount of ammunition they've given the GOP in just the last 2 months, in my view, should be enough to sink the party brand into the dumpster further than it already is. And I think President Trump's approach is the right approach. Focus on the issues, ignore the noise, the scams, the games. Focus on what matters instead of getting caught in the mud with these absolute clowns. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.